Looking to dominate the sports books this NFL Sunday? Well, you've come to the right place. Join me as I give out my top 6 best bets for NFL Week 7, coming off 4 straight weeks of profit where we've hit our longest odds, our long shot of at least 3-1. So without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome, football fans, to another edition of IDP Plus Bets. That is right, folks. I am your host, the DGen Doc. Yes, folks, we are coming off another hot week, another week of profit, another week where we hit our longest odds. It was a plus 330 last week. Mr. Tyler Algiero took that ladder all the way up. I mean, we really didn't even get that far up. I mean, we gave it out on Thursday, so the price was a little bit better, but he went for over 100 yards. Shout out to Bucky Irving and Drake Maye for also getting it done on the ground for us last week. But as we look forward to NFL Week 7, it's another opportunity to make some cash. So without further ado, let's get into it, folks. We're going to start with Mr. Kenneth Walker. That is right, K9 the third. We're going to give Kenneth Walker over 70.5 rush yards at plus 115. This is a situation where the Atlanta defense, their pass defense is better than their rush defense. Atlanta is giving up about 140 yards on the ground, and I do expect this game to be close. I think the Seahawks have gotten a little bit too pass happy. I think they're starting to realize we have a great back in Kenneth Walker in our backfield. It should be time to use him. I don't think the Falcons are going to really outpace the Seahawks here. I don't think they're going to get out to a major lead. I don't see a situation where, in some of these other games where they're having to throw the ball all over the field because they're down or this, that, or whatever. This game should be close. It's a 3-point spread. I actually like the Seahawks in this game. I expect them to be able to hold their own. And I expect that to be a lot because they're going to be creating holes on the ground. Now, that offensive line with that right tackle position, Abram Lucas, their starting right tackle, and then George Fant, their backup, has been out. So it's been a little bit of a turnstile, a little bit of an issue when it comes to pass protection. So one of the best ways to do that is, instead of getting these guys into their pass sets, just let them go hit somebody in front of them and let them create a hole for Kenneth Walker. Again, the Falcons, Justin Simmons, safety, he's a little bit beat up with his hamstring. And then linebacker Troy Anderson is still not practicing with his knee. So situation where they've got some injuries on the offensive line that they can kind of adjust with running the ball. And then on the Falcons side, that defense has some injuries as well. And really, it's just a matchup where Kenneth Walker being a good back, and this defense giving up over 140 yards, that's for him to just get half of what they're already giving up. And I do expect Kenneth Walker to get the majority of the workload. I know Zach Charbonnet is a good back, but I don't think he's the same quality as Kenneth Walker. And I think Kenneth Walker really has a day today. So give me Kenneth Walker over 70.5 rush yards at plus 115. All right, folks, we started with a nice plus 115, as always with this show on my NFL best bets. Look, these are my 6 favorite prop bets from the weekend. And the odds just keep getting higher and higher to make us more and more money. This next play, we're going to go into a little bit of the fade realm, and we're going to be fading Michael Pittman Jr. We're going to go under 40.5 receiving yards at a plus 160 here. Now, I know what you're thinking. This is a low number, 40.5 yards for someone who's supposed to be a wide receiver number 1. Well, what if I told you he has hit this in every game except for one? Against the Pittsburgh Steelers, when we saw a little bit of Joe Flacco get into the game, he went for over 100 yards. Every other game, the highest total he had for receiving yards was 37. I mean, this was something as I was looking into the numbers, and I like the matchup there with the Titans having a decent defense there. This was one where I was a little bit. Didn't expect that. Excuse me, not the Titans. They play the Miami Dolphins there, that the Indianapolis Colts do. But there's a couple reasons why I like Pittman to go under this number here. First thing is pretty obvious, but he's dealing with a back injury. And this was a back injury where they originally said he was going to miss multiple weeks. They talked about the IR. This is, a bit of a nagging injury where, yes, he's going to play through it. But as anyone who's dealt with back pain knows, that it does not take much to flare that up. So we have that going for us, whether there's a re-injury risk there. And then we have the situation where Anthony Richardson is now going to be quarterback, and he's healthy enough to be the starter. All expectations he's going to start, and that doesn't necessarily mean good things for those wide receivers. Joe Flacco, someone who can distribute the ball, throw it all over the yard. Anthony Richardson, that's not really a strong suit. He's going to be kind of using his legs and picking and choosing. But again, Michael Pittman Jr. in every game except for the one against Pittsburgh, less than 37 yards or less. So you would have cashed this, in his 5 out of 6 games there. So I really like this play with Michael Pittman under 40.5 receiving yards at a nice plus 160. All right, let's talk about a guy that we have not talked about on the show before, and that is Mr. Demario Douglas. Well, there's a reason we hadn't talked about him before, because I was staying pretty much clear of that Patriots offense before Mr. Drake Maye entered the fold. Finally, those Patriots wide receivers finally have some competent quarterback play. We saw it last week against a much better secondary in Houston. Now the Patriots head over to London and they take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Give me Demario Douglas over 60.5 receiving yards at plus 180. He had 92 yards last week in his first game with Drake Maye in that connection. He was expected to be the team's number 1 wide receiver coming into the season, so this really shouldn't be a surprise that him and Maye are really kind of hitting it off there. And again, this Jacksonville Jaguars secondary is awful. I know they have the 2 edge rushers there, but they just got rid of their defensive tackle in Harris Robertson. And I mean, this team is got. We thought last week they potentially would be able to show up in London, back against the wall, desperate spot, but they just absolutely laid down. I mean, Caleb Williams carved them up left and right. So I expect Demario Douglas to do a bit of the same here. I expect him to, whether it's the big plays or whether it's just death by 1,000 cuts, I think he can get it either way. I think 60.5 yards is very low for the Patriots wide receiver 1 with a very nice matchup. All right, folks, we are halfway through the show because we've given out 3 bets. So before I move on to the last 3, and again, those are going to have even higher odds than what we just gave out, I got to tell you about what we're doing over here on IDP Plus. That is right, folks. You want to make sure you get on over and get an IDP Plus subscription. And don't worry, for a limited time, we're going to give you a discount with promo code PROPS. But this gets you access to all our tools, data, special articles, a special subscriber Discord. Now, there's articles where you can kind of read a little bit of it, and then it's behind that paywall. This is what gets you into that. I know I write an article every week talking about the biggest injuries in the NFL and how they're specifically going to impact the defensive side of the ball, whether it's IDP fantasy or whether it's you want to be in the sack market, tackles markets, things like that. So definitely head on over there, get a 20% off site-wide with promo code PROPS. And then let's tell you about our friends over at Fanduel. That is right, Fanduel. Get $50 in bonus bets when you deposit $10 there. IDPplus.com/FanDuel. And don't worry, if you're more of the DraftKings variety, we've got a promo with them as well. $50 in bonus bets when you deposit $50. So they will match that 100% deposit bonus up to $50 in bonus bets. And that is IDPplus.com/DraftKings. We will have those links in the show notes. All right, let's get back to it here. We're getting to pick number 4 here. And on the backside, we're going to kind of pick up exactly where we left off because I'm talking about another New England Patriots, and that's the guy who's going to be throwing the ball to Demario Douglas, and that's Drake Maye, the rookie quarterback Drake Maye. I'm going to go with over 230.5 passing yards at plus 190. Now, I mean, Drake Maye started 1 game, and he's currently 1-1 with this number. He threw for 243 yards last week, and that was against a tough Houston secondary. Now, I know the game got a little bit out of hand, and maybe that's not the case here, but still, the Jacksonville Jaguars have just given up opportunities after opportunities to anyone who will take them, whether it was Caleb Williams, whether it was Joe Flacco coming off the couch. I mean, their defense has just been getting absolutely shredded, and there's no reason why Drake Maye can't stand in there and do the exact same thing. Again, they do have some decent edge rushers, but this unit is not cohesive. There's a lot of guys that feel like whether it's lack of motivation, lack of coaching, they're just kind of always not in the right position. So give me Drake Maye to light them up through the air over 230.5 passing yards at plus 190. Now we're going to go to a guy who is quietly, sneakily having a wonderful season here. So much so that he's the current number 3 leading rusher. So he's the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL. 3rd best in the NFL. 3rd in overall rushing yards there for Chubba Hubbard. Chubba Hubbard, 90 plus rushing yards, at plus 215. Look, a couple reasons. One, in his last 4 games, Hubbard has rushed for 90 plus yards. So this is more than a 2-to-1 for him to continue doing what he's doing. Now, we talk about matchup. Washington is giving up about 5 yards a rush, and that was before Jonathan Allen got hurt. One of their best players, if not the best player on defense, their defensive tackle, who has been a stalwart for them in the middle for the past several years, he's out for the season with a pec tear. So that's going to open some things up there. They're going to try to slot the rookie Newton in there. But I don't think he's ready to just stop the run completely like something Jonathan Allen was working towards there. And even with him, again, that defense giving up 5 yards a rush. So I really like Chubba Hubbard to just continue to what he's doing, especially in a favorable matchup. All right, last one, our official long shot for the episode, and that is going to be courtesy of Mr. Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, 90 plus receiving yards at plus 310. This is another guy who's just absolutely been producing. He's had some favorable matchups, and he's going to walk right in to a favorable matchup. They play on Monday night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Right now, Jamel Dean, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers cornerback number 1, dealing with a hamstring injury. His status is up in the air. And this Ravens offense has really taken stride the past couple of weeks. Flowers had over 100 yards in each of his last 2 games. And the Bucs, they let up over 250 yards in the air. So it should be a situation where these receiving yards are easy to come by, right? Because you've got not only the best cornerback beat up, but you've got this Ravens offense absolutely rolling. And game script-wise, I do expect this game to have a decent amount of points. Both offenses are firing on all cylinders. Both defenses a bit shaky, especially in the passing game. So I think we're going to get some points here, and I think we're going to get a decent amount of yards. And Zay Flowers, just the way that he is involved in so many different ways, I like for him to go over the 90 yards there, 90 plus yards at plus 310. All right, folks, that is my 6 best bets, my 6 favorite bets for NFL Week 7. Don't worry, we're going to do a quick recap if you missed any of those. So I'm going to go with Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker over 70.5 rush yards at plus 115. I'm going to go with Colts wide receiver Michael Pittman Jr. under 40.5 receiving yards at plus 160. I'm going to go with Patriots wide receiver Demario Douglas over 60.5 receiving yards at plus 180. I'm going to go with Drake Maye, quarterback there for the Patriots, over 230.5 passing yards at plus 190. We're going to go Chubba Hubbard, again, the 3rd leading rusher in the NFL. The Panthers running back, 90 plus rush yards at plus 215. And then finally, Zay Flowers, 90 plus rush yards at plus 310. All right, folks. Hey, I hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, go ahead, comment, subscribe. As a new channel, we are open to any and all feedback, and we definitely appreciate if we're able to make you money or at least able to entertain you. We appreciate it. We want you to let us know. All right, folks. Until next time, look, every Thursday I go live breaking down the Thursday night game. We hit pretty nicely on this Thursday. Where we were on, how I kind of saw the game going is exactly how it played out. So make sure you join that every Thursday live. And then, of course, every week, NFL best bets for the week, dominating NFL Sunday and Monday. All right, folks, from the DGen Doc, I am out of here.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.